So, the European Union has rolled out this incredibly ambitious plan to regulate the world's most powerful artificial intelligence. And today we're going to unpack exactly how they plan to pull it off. This analysis, by the way, was carried out under the scientific supervision of Professor Vihar Kiskinov.
All right, let's look at our roadmap. We'll kick things off with the big problem, that general purpose challenge. Then we'll dive into the EU's centralized solution. After that, we'll meet the key players in this new regulatory world, see how their enforcement powers actually work in practice, and understand how this all connects with other major digital laws. And finally, we'll zoom out to see what this all means for the global stage.
Okay, so first things first. Before we can understand the solution, we really have to get a handle on the unique challenge that even created the need for this law.
And this really is the fundamental question, isn't it? The one regulators are grappling with. It's one thing to make rules for an AI that just plays chess or, guides a robot vacuum around your house. But what about a tool that can write poetry, analyze complex financial data, and design a building? That's a whole different ballgame.
And this is the official term for it, a general-purpose AI model. The key phrase here is significant generality. It's what makes these models so amazing, right? One moment it's helping a scientist discover a new drug, the next it's writing code for a startup. But that incredible flexibility is also what makes it so risky. I mean, how do you put rules around something when you can't even begin to predict all the ways it's going to be used a year from now?
So faced with this massive challenge of flexibility and scale, what was the EU's big move? Well, they decided to go for unity over fragmentation, a single, clear approach.
I mean, just imagine the alternative for a second. It would be chaos. You'd have 27 different countries with 27 completely different sets of rules for AI. It would be a total nightmare for developers trying to build things, and honestly, a lottery for citizens when it comes to safety standards. The EU's answer was to say, no, let's create one single rulebook for everyone. That way you get clarity, a level playing field, and consistent protection no matter where you are.
And this brings us to the very heart of the solution, Article 88. It's all about centralization. This single article gives one body, the European Commission, the exclusive power to supervise and enforce the rules. One referee for all 27 member states. This means there's no confusion. One set of rules, one enforcer, and a consistent approach for the entire bloc.
But, the Commission isn't just acting on its own in some silo. It's actually built a whole regulatory ecosystem around this. So let's take a look at who's actually in charge here. It's a team effort.
So you've really got four key players on the field. You have the European Commission, which is the ultimate authority. Then there's the AI Office, which you can think of as the hands-on implementing arm. The member states act as a crucial safety net on the ground. And finally, you have a scientific panel to provide that deep expert advice.
Now here's a really important detail about the AI Office. It's not some separate, independent agency off on its own. It's built right inside the European Commission. And that's no accident. It's a strategic move to keep all that technical, legal, and ethical brainpower in one central place, ensuring that the final accountability stays right with the EU's main executive body.
And this creates what you could call a critical safety valve. Even though the main power is centralized, the individual member states are the eyes and ears on the ground. If authorities in, say, Spain or Poland spot a powerful AI causing real harm to their citizens, they can pull the alarm. They can trigger an EU-level investigation. It's a pretty smart balance between central authority and local vigilance.
Okay, so we know who the players are, but what can they actually do? What happens when things go wrong? Let's walk through the actual playbook.
Let's imagine a scenario. It's hypothetical, sure, but it's also incredibly realistic. Let's say a big, widely used AI tool that companies across the EU use to screen job applications is found to be systematically and unfairly rejecting people from a protected group.
And what's so brilliant about this is how it shows the step-by-step process. Notice, it doesn't just come in with a hammer. The first step is an investigation, gathering the facts. The second is a structured dialogue, a conversation to find solutions. Corrective actions are only ordered if that dialogue fails. And those heavy fines, they are the absolute last resort, only used when a company digs in its heels and refuses to comply.
And believe me, those sanctions have real teeth. We're talking about penalties that can run into the millions of euros, and they're specifically designed to make sure that even the largest and most powerful tech companies take these rules very, very seriously.
Now, it's absolutely crucial to understand that the AI Act is not some lonely island. It's actually a major piece of a much larger puzzle that the EU has been building for its digital future.
You can see here how it's all interconnected. It works hand in hand with the GDPR when it comes to the personal data used to train AI models. It links up with the Digital Services Act when AI is used for things like content moderation, and it connects with the Digital Markets Act to make sure the biggest tech gatekeepers don't use their power unfairly. It's all part of one big, unified vision for the digital world.
All right, for our final piece, let's zoom all the way out and look at the bigger global picture this legislation is trying to paint.
So at its core, what's the big idea here? It really is all about balance. The EU is trying to thread a very fine needle, create a framework that fosters all the incredible innovation that AI promises, while at the same time building guardrails to ensure that development is safe, trustworthy, and respects people's fundamental rights. It's a tightrope walk between progress and protection.
And that leaves us with the big open question. Has the EU created the global blueprint for AI safety that the rest of the world will follow, or have they inadvertently built a regulatory barrier that's going to slow down innovation? Honestly, the answer to that question is going to define the next decade of technology, and it's one of the most important debates happening anywhere in the world right now.